Begin with this. City leaders of Marlin faced calls of accountability after several shelter dogs were found dead and living in nightmarish conditions back in January.
And now a new billboard in Waco publicly displays the demand for justice. The group organizer spoke with our very own Mike Rogers, who joins us live in studio with the latest on this push. Mike, what did she tell you today?
Yeah, guys, the push continues for the Texas Rangers to open an investigation into this case. And Dorothy Sanders says they submitted an evidence packet outlining the abuse of these animals to Governor Greg Abbott. But closer to home, she hopes this billboard will be a call to action for the public to continue to be a voice for these dogs and justice in their names. Right off the intersection of Clay Avenue and South 18th Street in Waco, the calls for justice and accountability for the dogs rescued and those found dead at the hand of the Marlin Animal Shelter are on full display.
It's just to send a message to the county and the city officials that we're not going anywhere until justice is served.
Dorothy Sanders, a leader of the Justice for the Marlin Dogs community group, says an out-of-state donor from Cincinnati got word of the story about the shelter and their fight for justice, not only providing support for treatment, but funding the billboard on display in Waco.
I want them to check out the website so they can learn how to take action. The dogs are voiceless, they're helpless, so they're relying on us to be their voice.
Since the initial story of abuse at the shelter broke, Sanders says one dog has been adopted and 7 have been placed in foster shelters. But for strays in the area, the Marlin Police Department has not yet hired an animal control officer. So law enforcement response remains limited.
That there's concerns. There was, reports, a rumor that a child was bitten, and so there's, concerns that, the dogs, with increased strays will develop that pack mentality.
Sanders says her push for justice continues and says law enforcement must do more to get justice for these animals.
9 weeks is tomorrow since this has occurred, and there's been no kind of witness statements, no kind of interviews, nothing, including the gentleman that discovered the issues itself, as well as the animal control officer on duty. It's rumored that she too has not been interviewed for this.
Now, on February 19th, Sanders said the group delivered an evidence packet outlining the abuse and situation at the Marlin Animal Shelter to Governor Abbott, requesting a Texas Rangers investigation. And she says last week they held a teleconference with 3 of the governor's staffers in which they took notes and received her request for an investigation, guys.
Okay. Mike Rogers, you'll stay on it for us. Any updates needed?